Hi, this is Niklas from Radiant, and in this video I want to quickly introduce a super interesting tool I discovered, the AI visibility and coverage analysis by Locomotive Agency. Shout out on that note to Tyler Gargula, who shared it on LinkedIn 1 day ago, or depending on when you watch the video, just recently. And basically what this tool does is it simulates a query fan out. Query fan out, for everybody that does not know it, is basically if you go to ChatGPT or if you also use Google AI mode, for example, already in the US, and you search for certain stuff and a web search or live search is performed, then your prompt is basically split up into different queries with all sorts of different directions, where basically the LLM or the search engine tries to capture the most important content around that topic, and then basically based on that queries compile a response to give you within the chat window. And this is very interesting. This tool is very interesting to understand how a page that you have on your site basically performs against different keywords, and also taking into account this query fan out. And I thought I'd just share a quick example for you so you get a better understanding of how valuable these insights can actually be. So to date, you can only choose basically from Gemini models, so between Gemini 2.5 Flash and 2.5 Pro. You can configure the number of queries per keyword, so basically the expansion. So if we would, for our example, take the keyword construction tool tracking from ToolSense here, a B2B SaaS asset management software which we supported for quite some time in SEO and also in the first steps into the AI search world, then this basically determines how many additional queries should be checked. You can also decide on which country to use, so US, UK, Canada, Australia, Germany, etc. And then basically you here have two input fields. So one is the target keyword. For our example, we will go with construction tool tracking. And for our target URL, we will take this article here we did about construction tool tracking, which is generally an important topic or a commercially relevant topic for ToolSense. Now here we have some settings that we can do. So we can say if the top search results should be included. This is basically just used to determine the relevancy of your content or of your page for the given keywords and the other keywords in comparison with your competitors. And you can also include an AI content strategy analysis. So this basically just gives you an idea about how you can transform your existing page to also capture other queries that are closely related and that might be included in a query fan out, or if it makes more sense to create a new page and a dedicated page to better capture the search intent here. Number of top search results to analyze. We can go with 4 here. This is totally fine. And then just start the analysis. Then it will take a quick moment. I will just cut the video here and get back to you when the analysis is done. So this takes about like a minute or two from my experience with the tool so far. So now the analysis is complete and we can see the results just down below here. So first of all, this chart can feel a little overwhelming at first, but it basically gives you an idea about the different queries that have been determined in the fan out. So just to recap, our key keyword or query was construction tool tracking. And you can see the different keywords that were, or the queries that were simulated in the fan out. So this could be, for example, construction tool check-in, check-out system reviews, construction tool inventory management apps, Bluetooth tool tracking versus UWB for job site tools. Actually, I don't know what that means. Benefits of real-time tool tracking in construction, affordable tool tracking solutions for small construction businesses, tool tracking software with maintenance scheduling features, tool tracking for power tools on large construction sites, etc. And then you also have the domain or the URL that we have entered here. In this example, it's ToolSense, and then other competitors that are basically present currently on the top search results of Google. And then you basically have a score on how relevant the different domains are, or the results are for the queries. So basically for something like benefits of real-time tool tracking in construction, ToolSense has the highest relevance score. Generally also ToolSense scores quite well here for construction tool inventory management apps. ShareMyToolbox.com performs a little bit better. But yeah, I feel like this is pretty cool and feels quite sophisticated. But what I liked the most is basically the detailed query results, where I can also understand why certain queries might be interesting to think about. So this is something like RFID tool tracking systems for construction sites. The type is an entity expanded query. So here the intent might be to explore a specific technology, in this case RFID for tool tracking within the construction, and then you would either have to enlarge that or just download it as a CSV and then basically import it to Google Sheet to see this better. Well, maybe it's a Chrome bug, but yeah, you just have to export it then. The reasoning is RFID is a specific entity technology related to tool tracking. The user is narrowing down whatever, something like how to prevent tool theft on construction projects. It's an implicit query. Also, it's really interesting here to find practical strategies and solutions to mitigate tool theft. And then the reasoning, while not explicitly mentioning tracking, tool tracking is a primary method for, and since I know the space a little bit, basically you oftentimes want to implement tool tracking because stuff gets stolen on the construction site. So this is actually pretty smart. So I think these query suggestions are really, really cool. So this is something that I feel like helps a lot to determine how you can make your content or your online presence in general on your own site, but also on other sites, much more comprehensive and get a little bit of an out-of-the-box view besides keywords and besides some key queries that you have in mind. So yeah, this is really cool. Then you get a score from the target URL that we have entered. So basically for ToolSense. And this score is, you can also click on that and then have it in the FAQs. So basically it's a similarity score that determines how well your site matches the different search queries. It's basically a score from 0 to 1. And if you're in like 0.8 to 1, it's highly relevant and directly addresses the query. I've done some tests, and most of the time I got something in the range of 0.7 to 0.8. Here, for example, all domains score significantly lower than ToolSense, so obviously we did quite a good job. And versus the 4 competitors, we rank on the first spot of 5. Then you have a content analysis, the different chunks that were retrieved, average chunk length, total content length, etc. Main matching content chunks, where you can also check a little bit which chunk from your page was retrieved and how relevant it was found for the different queries from the fan out. So RFID tool tracking systems for construction sites might be one query that could be included in a fan out. And then basically the tool determines, hey, which chunk would be the most relevant one and how relevant is it on a score from 0 to 1. And here, for example, It's this chunk and user-friendly tool tracking solution. Tag individual items with QR codes or RFID chips, and use a tool management system like ToolSense to enable employees to check in or check out tools. This gives you a good idea how, let's say, chunkable, I don't know if this is a word, but how well your content works when being chunked for these different queries. And yeah, just is a nice insight to really go into optimization with much more precision. Then you also have content strategy recommendations. Don't want to read everything to you. So the overall content strategy for construction tool tracking effectively targets a broad spectrum of user intents by strategically enhancing the core product page with deep dives into benefits features like IoT and maintenance scheduling and clear pricing for various segments, while concurrently prioritizing the creation of new authoritative comparison guides and detailed explanations of specific tracking technologies. For example, RFID, GPS versus RFID, Bluetooth versus UWB. This dual approach directly addresses key content gaps in competitive analyses and comprehensive technology breakdowns, establishing ToolSense as both a leading solution provider and a valuable unbiased resource. The strategy ensures robust coverage across informational, commercial, investigation, and transactional stages, positioning the site to capture users from early stage research to specific solution evaluation by providing practical, actionable insights. So actually, I read everything to you now, but this is definitely something that I really appreciate. So I think this is something actually that I could take this way, maybe formulate a little bit differently, and then basically push it over to the client to either justify our already existing strategy or get some new insights. And then this one here is also really cool. So basically you get a clear recommendation based on the different queries from the fan out simulation, and a recommendation if you should implement this or try to implement that on the current page that we have analyzed. For example, with an expanded problem solution section or a dedicated blah, blah, blah section. Also a reasoning, the target query, how to prevent tool theft and control directly aligns with blah, 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 the intent. Or if you should expand, so create something new. For example, a comprehensive comparative guide or listicle reviewing the best construction tools tracking softwares, dedicated guide, dedicated solution guide, etc. And then in the end we have a final competitive comparison, and yeah, we can export the full results as a CSV or also download the report. This is a markdown report. So yeah, but you can basically work with that. Keep in mind that if you hit download, basically the analysis is gone here. So you can't see it anymore. I don't think that there's a history feature or anything already. No, it's not. But yeah, so this was my quick overview. I appreciate this tool a lot. So definitely give Tyler a follow. I think he did a really, really cool job with creating that tool. Actually, yeah, I think this provides a lot of cool insights. It definitely helps to think more in the direction of how we have to think about creating content in a world where an LLM or an AI chatbot will basically search for us based on this query fan out approach. And let me know in the comments how you like the tool. Definitely give it a try. I will link it down below. And super happy to hear, and all the best to your SEO and GEO efforts.